Hello everybody and welcome to Mental Monday, the big friendly conversation about mental health. I'm going to hold off on my intro slightly just so I know that the stream is working. I've got headphones in which hopefully fixes the audio quality. If I don't move them around too much, it hopefully fixes the audio quality. Do let me know if that's still an issue. I know audio quality is like my biggest issue, and I thought going on my phone would fix that, and it kind of did but kind of didn't. So hopefully having the headphones in actually does help with the audio quality. Right, this is Mental Monday, the big friendly conversation about mental health. It is Mental Health Awareness Week 2020. It's day 2 of Mental Health Awareness Week. It is Tuesday. If you needed a reminder, every day seems to be blending into one these days. And for the next half an hour or so, we're going to be talking about all things mental health right here on the channel today. I actually started with no technical issues whatsoever this morning, which I was really happy with. This evening, rather. Which is something I'm really happy with. And there is no script. So if you're new here, which you probably are if it's Mental Health Awareness Week and I haven't done a mental health video in a while, there is no script to this. We can talk about, normally I go by what you say in the comments as to what we talk about, or what's kind of topical for the day and what's been said, what's been discussed. There is no script, I have nothing pre-written, I have nothing in front of me. If I keep looking over there, and that's to my right, to your left, I'm looking over there because I've got my laptop down there with the stream on and the chat, so I can actually see what you guys are saying on the chat, and I've got my blog post up there as well, which I'll be mentioning later on. So, as I mentioned, it's day 2 of Mental Health Awareness Week, and this Mental Monday is going to be about kindness, and we're focusing on kindness specifically today. I touched on it yesterday. Yesterday, if you didn't watch that was kind of a longer stream. It was about 38 minutes. You're going to have to forgive the hair as well. It's not been cut in a while, considering that I can't actually get it cut. So the hair is just doing its thing. Hopefully that doesn't bother you too much. I do have to flick it out my eyes occasionally because then I can't see myself on my phone, so that's obviously quite a problem. But Mental Health Awareness Week is about kindness. That's the theme. It was sleep, but then they changed the theme to kindness because it seemed much more natural, I guess, considering everything that's going on in the world. And kindness is really, we're all kind of relying on it to some extent at the moment. So kindness is, I think, a good change of theme. And it's been great to talk about that yesterday. And yesterday was more of an intro of what I was going to do this week. I didn't really get into the meat of kindness, as it were. I didn't really discuss anything major to do with kindness. I was mainly just saying what I was going to talk about tomorrow and for the rest of the week. So today I want to talk about kindness. And I think we're a few minutes in now. The intro's out the way. Just going to take it up to 5 minutes, let some people join, and then I'll get into it. But Mental Monday is a live chat that I used to do. I stopped it because I believe that talking about my mental health, I felt that talking about my mental health didn't help me. I realised that I was actually just going for a low patch, and that whether I spoke or not, my mental health wasn't going to change. My coping strategy of not talking about mental health didn't really help me cope. So I've decided that, actually, it's part of me. I'm just going to have to live with it. And I can kind of talk about both my job, which is marketing, and mental health kind of on the same platform. And I feel it's much better for me. And definitely this week has given me an opportunity to kind of reflect on myself, as well as try and help you and give my own thoughts really and cover the event as much as I can. So, we are now at the point where we begin. I think that's as many people joined as we're going to get. And we're about 4 minutes in, so let's do it. So, kindness is in 3 parts for me. And these are parts that I talk in the blog post, which went up on my website today. The blog post, if you just go on jakesymons.com, and the blog post is there. It's linked somewhere around here, and it's definitely on my Twitter as well, because I've got it right at the top. Kindness comes in 3 parts for me, and that is being kind to others, others being kind to me, and then being kind to myself, which comes last on my list. It always has kind of come last on my list, but I don't know why it comes last on the list. It's just kind of the order of things. But I spoke about those in the blog. So today, to kick things off, I thought I would talk about those types of kindness, unless you wanted to talk about anything, in which case let me know in the chat if you do actually want to talk about anything, because this is unscripted. We can talk about what you want to talk about. I just fill time until you do want to talk about things. But for me, I started my mental health journey being kind, and I spoke about this somewhat yesterday, that when I was 13, 14, I found Childline, and Childline is run by the NSPCC, and it's charity for under 19s, I think. I think it's either under 18s or under 19s, and you can go on there and talk to counsellors, and it's a really useful service. But they've also got message boards, and on the message boards you can answer other young people, and you can speak to basically people like you who are going through the same situations. People saying cams, people going through anxiety, people going through family problems, people going through all sorts of issues, and they post on the message boards, and it's completely anonymous, so you've got no idea who they are, and they don't know who you are. And then I did is, instead of posting myself, I would actually answer people on the message boards, and I would spend time in my day to go through and respond. And I found a great comfort in actually replying to people and saying, I feel that way too. This is what I do to help. You're not alone. And I feel like really the biggest message I said is, I'm this way too. You're not alone. I feel like that really helps. That helped me because I realised that I wasn't alone in the same way, because I was telling other people they weren't alone, which meant I wasn't alone either. And I guess it gave me a community very early on in my mental health when, this is where I didn't know any of my friends with mental health problems. I didn't really speak openly about it to anyone. I wasn't, mental health was just my thing and my thing alone. So it gave me a sense of community. It made me find other people like me who I could go to and I could talk to, and I found a great comfort in doing that. And that's, in the early stages, what got me through, because I didn't have anything else at that time. I was using the Childline service, and I also then responded on the message boards as well. So I kind of accepted the kindness from the counsellor, the volunteer, who, is at the other end of the phone, or at the other end of that chat, or at the other end of the email. And then I also, in my own way, gave kindness, gave a message, and that really helped me. I felt like I was doing something, and that doing something really just shows me, you can do things, and it helped me a lot. And then that kind of led into my mental health blog, because I loved writing. I've always loved writing. I write short stories, which I haven't actually done. I haven't actually written anything fiction or written anything for fun in a while. It is mainly work stuff these days, but I found a great peace in writing, and I always had this imagination, and I'd always be able to share a good story. And I feel like taking that writing, and then I wanted to do something with it. So I started my mental health blog when I was 16, didn't really take from until I was 17, which is a year ago, because I'm 18 now. So if that kind of process of writing, then I went into my blog, which made me happy, because, well, to be honest, my blog in the early days wasn't to help people. It kind of was indirectly, but I think the biggest reason for me starting my blog and for me starting writing is just to get it out there, to just, let someone else read it and actually see what I was saying. And then I thought, actually maybe I could write tips, maybe I could write and say how I'm feeling, maybe other people would benefit from that somehow. And I think we all have a reason. I know mental health bloggers, we've all got a very personal reason for starting a blog, especially a mental health blog. It's a blog about us and our mind, and it's very personal, and I like having that space to be me completely and totally. And on my mental health blog, that is it. That is just what I'm feeling, and just what I'm thinking at the time. And that's why I like these live chats as well, because I feel like on these live chats, there's no script. I don't have plans what I'm saying. I kind of go in with a general idea to fill time and such, but actually what I'm saying now is what I'm just processing in my head and speaking. I don't actually have a plan or a kind of list of things to say or any kind of script of what to say. It's completely free and open, and whatever comes into my head comes out to you guys. And I feel like that's really helpful for me to just be free and open, and hopefully you find some benefit in that as well. So, just looking at the comments section, it's quiet in the comments again. You can tell it's been a while since I've done a live because no one's actually commenting. So everyone's forgotten about Mental Monday. But the third form of kindness is being kind to yourself. And it's something that will link in tomorrow's post, where tomorrow I'll be covering the report from the Mental Health Foundation. They've produced about 13-page report on kindness. They normally do one, and I'm just kind of breaking it down into one blog post, just for people who don't read the report, because it's quite long. And I feel like actually being kind to myself isn't really something I've focused on a lot until recently. It was about the time that I started my mental health blog that I came across this idea of self-care. And before I started my mental health blog, so in the kind of start to the deep low moments in my recovery journey, the kind of the rock bottom, I didn't really think of self-care. I never came across the term until I was about 16, really, until I actually, processed what is self-care. How can I do? Why would I even bother with self-care? I never really cared about self-care. I thought, if I just carried on as I was carrying on, I would just be able to work through things. And it turns out you can't just will yourself to go on indefinitely. There'll be a point where no matter how much willpower you have, there will always be a time where that's it and you can't carry on. And I felt that why should I take time for me? I couldn't turn off, I couldn't switch off, I couldn't discharge. That was probably one of my biggest problems, is that I couldn't actually rest. And I think as I'm kind of, I guess, coming into adulthood now and actually processing things more for my mental health blog and seeing self-care a lot in the mental health community, I'm actually starting to realise that I can take rest. And when I tried to do it to start with, it never felt like rest. I was always like, all these things I could be doing right now, I could be doing like this entire list of things. But I'm not. I'm doing nothing. I'm taking time for myself. I'm doing this. Why would I do this when I can be doing all of that? I don't deserve this. I don't need this. And I feel like actually I'm now kind of training my brain to accept the fact that I can discharge and I can take time for self-care. And I feel like that's been really helpful is actually being kind to myself and allowing myself to take that time is really been helpful. So, just checking the comments, see what you're saying in the chat. Yeah, so just checking the comments, see what's been happening in the chat. I feel like kindness is... It's been brought into a lot more focus recently, and I'm glad it has been, because I certainly didn't... I thought of kindness, but I didn't think of, kindness as a thing and process it and actually focus on it in the way that I have been this week. For the last couple of weeks, writing the blogs I'm doing for this week, I've actually, thinking about kindness, and actually, yeah, being kind has helped me, and I can kind of see it, and it's not really something I would have necessarily thought about. It's just something that I would have kind of done and not really thought about. But then from clapping on a Thursday night to the rainbows in the windows, it's something we're all showing our kindness and our gratitude. And I feel like it's been brought into a lot more focus without this week. And it's really good that then this week comes to actually then highlight the mental health impacts of that, because we all have a mental health. And it depends, there's some people that will say that their mental health is boosted by this lockdown because they can, reconnect with their garden and do the things that they wanted to do around the house, and kind of time slows down for them, and they're away from the rush of work and the corporate life. And then for others, being in lockdown, not having the kind of the places to go where they'd normally chill out, be that the routine kind of, going to the cinema or going out, taking more than one walk a day, although we can now take unlimited exercise. But I'm kind of in the middle. So I'm kind of happy that things have slowed down, because it's allowed me to think and chill and actually just process things, which, as I said on Instagram a couple of weeks ago, actually doing nothing at all really for the first couple of weeks of lockdown has really helped me in actually taking a step back and realising, where are you at, what's going on, what do you want to do, what are you doing now, and what do you want to do in the gap between them. And I feel like I've actually come some way in thinking about that. And then I got my website redesigned, which I did, and I've managed to then kind of get back onto it, and I feel more energised, I guess, to get back onto it, which is why I'm live again, because I like what I do, and I think I may have, when we do something for so long, we kind of fall out of love with it, and I'm now fully back in love with talking about mental health and everything else I do, and I feel like that's helping me, because connecting with you guys, speaking to you all on Twitter, that's something I love to do. I always was on Twitter replying to people and talking, and then I toned my Twitter right down. I kind of took a step back, tweeted every so often, didn't really engage that much, didn't really talk that much. I was just really kind of, just chill, just tweet every so often. Here's a marketing tweet, job done. I feel like yesterday and today, the community on there is still there, and the community on Twitter, while it obviously is really bad sometimes, and there's a lot of unkindness, it's very easy on Twitter to be unkind. It's probably one of the first places people go to be unkind, because it's so easy to fire off a tweet. But there's a community on there, and I feel like the community isn't somewhere where I've really been recently, and it's great to be back in the community, I guess, talking about mental health, which is good to be back on the live stream as well. It's been months, apparently, since I've done the live stream, as I was told by my friends yesterday when I suddenly popped up that I'd gone live. It's been a while, and it's good to get back onto it and talk and be me, because ultimately I want to help, and that helps me. Helping people helps me, so it kind of is nice for me to be kind to people, and then obviously other people are kind to me, which makes me feel nice as well, as it does. All the stats on that are coming out tomorrow. I don't have them offhand, but I'm currently writing that blog post. It's coming out tomorrow, and I'm writing it at like 7:30. But kindness is something that has helped me a lot, and friends being kind to me and accepting and, chill with me, which is nice, because I've always been kind of I'm a bit difficult as a friend. I think many in the mental health community will relate to me saying that we're a bit challenging to be friends with. I mean, we don't respond, we don't text, we kind of chill, we say no to going out. I certainly have done all those things. We're not really the best of friends sometimes. We're not really energized, and yeah, I'll come out or interested in things. I feel like, kindness of my friends accepting that and being there for me, ready to send a text if I'm feeling a bit low, ready to cheer me up, to put a meme in the group chat to cheer me up, stuff like that, which are very small acts, and they have the biggest difference on me, because it's that day-to-day kindness. And I feel like I am grateful for that. And I might have not thought before, or even said I was grateful for it, because I'm just like, these are my friends. But I am grateful for it, and I think that I realise that more so now, when, I can't go out and see my friends, and I can't go into the woods where there'd normally be the video, because in the woods we've got a den, and that's normally where we film some of the outside YouTube videos on this channel, is normally filmed in the den in the woods, which obviously I haven't been able to go to. So that's one of the things that's missing, and I feel like it's really got me through this time is my friends, ultimately, and talking to people and still holding that connection. And I'm grateful for them to stick by me, especially kind of in the lows of lockdown, where I'm just not texting at all and not really into anything. That's really helped. So kindness is something we all can share. We can all be kind, and that's really what I'd ask everyone to be, really, is kind. It kind of falls flat. I don't know why, but when I vocalise that out loud, it kind of falls flat. It doesn't really feel like I'm asking for a lot. It doesn't really feel like, we can all be kind. We should all be kind. But what I'm saying is something that so often we don't see. Too often we don't see people being kind. Especially if you look at, say, Twitter, prime example of this. In the comments, there's the kind people sending their hearts and their support, and the unkind people sending their rather curt statements, and that's not just a disagreement, that's to the point it's unkind. And I feel like, being kind is just probably something we all should do. It makes the other person feel good, and it makes us feel good, and the stats on that will come out tomorrow. But if it makes us feel good and the other person feel good, then there's no loss. And I feel like that's something we should all be doing. just going to round off, we're kind of coming into the last final 5 minutes of the stream. So I just wanted to ask if there was anything else you wanted to talk about before we do end the stream. Tomorrow, as I say, there will be the mental health report, which is my blog post special, which is a midweek blog where I analyse the mental health report and share some of the statistics that they've released in that document, and just kind of break down my thoughts on that as well. I did the same thing for body image last year. This one will be slightly shorter than that one, but hopefully it's still got the same value in that. Tomorrow we'll also be live again. Hello, we'll be live. And, yeah, it's about the same as today, really. On Friday, there will be a roundup post of all the best blogs and content covered on Mental Health Awareness Week. It will be blogs, articles, news articles maybe, blogs of all sizes. If you go on my Twitter, that's at Jake S Writes. You will be able to see the pinned tweet, which is the request for your blogs. Please send them to me. I would like to read them, and I would like to read them on a personal level, and obviously include them in the roundup if they are appropriate. That's basically not too triggering, not members only, so my audience can read it who may not be subscribed to your blog, and just a good read for Mental Health Awareness Week. So that's coming up on Friday. We're live every day until Friday, discussing mental health, and then we'll be live again on Monday, also for Mental Monday, which is hopefully back into the full swing of things, which is good. I feel like we all need to look after each other a lot more in these times. We need to check in, especially when we don't have those groups or anything familiar to us. Because while we can talk over Zoom and WhatsApp and Discord on Snapchat, we also can't see each other face to face and, have a laugh and bounce off each other in that kind of group, which we're so used to doing. And it's nice to check in and say hello and make sure everyone's alright, really. So, if you didn't want to say anything on the stream, but want to message me privately, Twitter or my website has a contact form if you prefer email. Feel free to do that. Or you can do it on Instagram, which I am on. And that's it, really. That is everything I have to say. Just wondering if you've got anything else you want to add before I round this up. As always, it's great to be here and talk. And, every time I come on the stream, I'm grateful that really it's the kindness of others that's put me in the position to talk to you guys today. And I know that sounds cringy, and it's like, everyone says that. But if it wasn't for the kindness of people that have helped me on that mental health recovery journey, I wouldn't be as far down my recovery journey to the point where I'm happy. I would say I'm recovered, I'm happy, I'm always going to have low moments, but I can deal with them. And that, to me, is recovery. And I wouldn't be here, I wouldn't be able to do this live stream if it wasn't for the kindness of my friends. So, for that, I'm thankful. And for that kindness, that's something I just wanted to give a shout out to on the stream. And there we are. We have almost reached our 30 minutes mark. Is there anything else you need to mention, want to mention on the stream for me to discuss? Is that a no? That looks like it's a no. Well, as always, it's been great talking about mental health. And hopefully we can continue these conversations, but more importantly, we continue to be kind. And I really, really hope that after this is over and we return to normal, if we ever do, or we return to our lives outside our houses, that we actually continue to be kind and show the same love and kindness for one another, as we have shown during these times. And that's really the message I want to end with today. So thank you so much for joining me. We'll be back live tomorrow at 7 PM. Once again, always grateful to be here, and hope everyone stays safe. If you need to message me at any time, my DMs are open, and I will try. They can get busy, but I will try and answer everyone. Thank you. See you tomorrow.